Oh, Gracie, you have a lovely home.
Well, thank you, June.
Imagine you two running into each other today at Schwab's drugstore. Do you know I haven't seen Gracie since we were in high school together in San Francisco? Remember, Gracie? You were dating that good-looking Norman McGrath.
That's right. Whatever happened to Norman?
Well, the last time I saw him, he was going to law school. And I lost track of him, but I understand he's a judge now.
Oh, well, that's Norman. Never could stick to anything. Studies law and then goes into some other business.
June? June, you say you and your husband are in show business, huh? Yes, but not the same kind that Gracie and Mr. Burns are in. We're carnival people. Play the county fairs. Jim runs the carnival, and I do a little tightrope walking.
Oh, I always knew she'd do that. When she was a little girl, nobody could walk the crack in a sidewalk as long as June.
It's true.
She gets that talent from her mother. Her father couldn't even stay on the sidewalk.
Gracie, have you seen the new box of cigars I ordered?
No, but don't bother showing it to me. All cigar boxes look alike.
Should have known better. I didn't know you had company.
Oh, yes, George. This is June Higgins.
Hello, June.
Hello.
We ran into her at Schwab's. You know, she and I used to go to school together.
Really?
Uh-huh.
You know, George, you look even younger in person than you do on television.
I've got an old cameraman.
Well, I better go home and start Harry's lunch. Goodbye, June. I hope we see more of you.
Same here, Blanche.
I'll see you later, honey.
All right, Blanche. You know, George, June and her husband are in show business, too.
Is that so?
Yes, my husband owns a carnival, and I do a wire act.
A wire act? Then you must know the two McNulty boys.
Oh, I do. But we don't work alike. I work a slack wire, and they work tight.
I've seen them. They're just great.
Well, to stay on that wire in that condition, they must be.
Yeah. Well, I know you girls have a lot to talk about, and I got a little work to do, so I'll see you later, June.
All right, George.
Excuse me, dear.
All right.
Gracie, I wasn't going to mention this, but now that we're alone, I've just got to tell somebody.
Oh, what is it?
Oh, I'm in terrible trouble. I've been married to Jim Higgins for 25 years, and we've been very happy. Now it may end.
Oh, that's nonsense. George and I have been married 25 years, and believe me, our happiness hasn't even started.
No, you see, Gracie, my husband doesn't know about this. But before I married him, I was married to a man named Oliver White. Well, the whole thing was a mistake, and right after our honeymoon, he left me. Well, a few months later, I got a report that Oliver had been killed in a plane crash. So, a couple of years after that, I married Jim Higgins.
Oh, and he didn't know you were a widow.
It's worse than that. I'm not a widow. Oliver White is alive. I saw it in this morning's paper. He's staying at the Plaza Hotel.
Oh, this is awful.
Jim is very jealous. If he finds out about this, he might even leave me.
Oh, he wouldn't.
You don't know Jim. Well, I'd better run along and try and think of something.
Oh, yes, and I will, too. And if I do, I'll phone you.
I hope we can find a way out.
Oh, you are upset. Of course we can. I've lived in this house for years. Follow me.
Well, Gracie, that's just unbelievable. They've been happily married all these years, and she thought her first husband was dead?
Yes. But that's not why they're happy. It's really because they like each other.
Oh, well, I guess I wasn't listening. Anyway, this Oliver White is still alive.
Mm-hmm. He's stopping at the Plaza Hotel. Oh, I've got to help June. Do you think I should go over and see Mr. White and see if I can straighten things out?
No, I don't. No, Gracie, stay out of this. If your friend has a problem, let her handle it. She really should see somebody who's in that kind of business. Like this Dr. Kirby who's on television every day, or any domestic relations counselor.
Yes, Dr. Kirby's Problem Clinic. I've seen that show, and he's very good.
If he's helped a lot of people, have June see him.
Yeah. Oh, no, she can't. Her husband might find out, and he's very jealous. And... Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, why not? I'll go on the show and say I'm June Higgins.
No, Gracie, wait a minute. You can't... Well, look, don't you see? Even if her husband hears you tell the story, he'll still be jealous.
Well, that shows you what a spot she's in. If he's jealous of me, can you imagine what he feels about her?
How about Gracie after all these years running into June at Schwab's drugstore? Well, you meet everybody there. You know, Schwab's is supposed to be where Lana Turner was discovered by a talent scout sitting on a stool at the soda fountain. Of course, I don't know whether Lana was sitting on the stool or whether it was the talent scout. Now, it must have been the stool. Why would Lana sit on the talent scout? I'm not thinking. But actually, a lot of talent is found there. In fact, now Schwab has 3 drugstores to make it easier to be discovered. But it doesn't always work out that way. Now, when a girl is looking for a break, while she's seated at the counter having sodas in one store, she has to hire sit-ins to cover the other 2. But I'm glad Gracie ran into June. I'd like to meet her husband who's in the carnival business. That's a very fascinating business. You know, when I was about 11 years old, I had a job in the carnival. I worked in the Tunnel of Love. If a boat got stuck, I would wade through the tunnel and water up to my hips and get the boat started again. My first day there, I forgot to take my lunch out of my back pocket. That's the first time I ever ate a peanut butter sandwich that went down easy. I got about $2 a week, but my mother saved a lot of money on laundry. Every time I'd go to work, she'd take the family laundry and a bar of soap and stuff them in my knickers. I stayed on that job so long and got so used to it that on my day off, when I walked around with dry knickers, I'd always catch cold. And then they had an old man there working in the carnival. He had a diving act. He was billed as the world's oldest high diver. He charged 25 cents admission, get about 200 people in the tent, and before he did his act, he'd always make a speech. He'd say, "Ladies and gentlemen, I'm 86 years old. I'm going to climb that 100-foot ladder and dive into that 5-foot tank of water. But before I do it, I want to tell you, at my age, I'll never be able to reach the top of the ladder. And if I do and dive into the tank, that'll be the end. I'll kill myself. But you paid your admission. If you want me to do it, I'll do it." And everybody would scream, "Don't do it. We don't want you to do it. Don't do it." And he'd say, "Okay. Now everybody out. Next show at 2:30.
Sit down, please.
Thank you.
Now, Mrs. White.
Oh, my name isn't Mrs.
Please. We don't use actual names on this program. That's for your own protection. We also request that you wear this mask so your friends don't recognize you.
Say, that's a good idea. I certainly wouldn't want the Mortons or the Bagleys or the Vandalets to know who I am.
Please. No names. Now, what is the nature of your problem?
Well, it's very difficult. I hope you can advise me what to do.
Well, I'm sure I can. In recent weeks, I've been faced with such problems as a broken marriage, serious illness, and financial failure.
Oh, your problems are worse than mine. I'll listen to you. Here, you put on the mask.
Those were not my personal problems. They were brought to me by people such as yourself.
Oh. Look, isn't that Gracie?
Now, Mrs. Y, let us proceed with your problem. Just stop.
By Jove, you're right.
Tell me the whole story. And
What in the world is
she
she
up in the facts?
Well, I've been married to a man in show business for 25 years, but he doesn't know that I was married before. And I thought my first husband was dead, but he isn't. And now he's turned up again, and I'm afraid to tell my second husband about him.
Well, this is a problem.
Oh, I can't
Now, you say you
believe
haven't seen your first husband for over 25 years?
Yeah, that's right. You see, right after we were married, Oliver White left me, and...
Please, no names. Just refer to him as A.
A what?
The letter A.
Oh.
Now, you were saying?
Well, right after our honeymoon, the letter A left me, and...
Mr. A.
Oh. Well, after Mr. A left me, I married my second husband. What should I call him?
Why?
So I'll know which one I'm talking about, that's why.
No. You're Mrs. Y. Therefore, we refer to your present husband as Mr. Y. Now, go ahead.
Well, I married Mr. Y after Mr. A left me. Now Mr. A is in town, and I don't want Mr. Y to find out.
Mrs. Y, it seems to me that your case is very similar to that of Ina Garden in the poem by Tennyson.
Please, no names. Just say the case of E in the poem by T.
Never mind. Mrs. Y, my advice to you is to arrange a meeting with your first husband, Mr. A, and explain the situation. I'm sure you'll be able to work out a solution if you appeal to him as a gentleman.
So Gracie was married before. Isn't that the most amazing thing?
No. The most amazing thing is that she was able to find two men willing to espouse such a scatterbrained flibberty-gibbet.
Flippity-gibbet, flippity-gibbet.
Gee, I didn't know, though, that George was the jealous type. Harry, would you ever forgive me if you found out that I'd had a husband before?
I would not. In fact, there are times when I find it difficult to forgive you for having married me.
I dare you to say that again.
Now, Blanche, please, no violence, no violence. I was only speaking in jest.
Well, someday you're not going to tell me in time that you were joking. That'll be the day I'll be known as the Widow Morton.
I'll keep that in mind. Seriously, though, I would be most displeased if I should learn of such an episode in your past of which you would fail to inform me. It would be an evidence of deceit, a feminine trait which I abhor.
Feminine trait. Men aren't deceitful, huh?
It is more frequently the province of your sex, Blanche. Even Mother, an exemplary woman, was guilty of deceiving Dad about her past.
No kidding. What was her deep, dark secret?
Well, she had led Dad to believe, prior to their marriage, that she had been a young woman of the leisure class, unaccustomed to any form of work. And later, to his consternation, Dad learned that she had once been employed as a female wrestler.
Who told him?
No one. He made the discovery for himself. One evening, they had a violent disagreement. And later on, as Dad lay on the floor with both of his legs tied in a knot around his neck, he said to himself, "This is not the work of an amateur."
That's right, huh?
That's why I told you the story about June, Mr. White.
Well, that's quite a story, Mrs. Burns. But I think I can put her mind at ease. Immediately after June and I separated, I got a divorce in Europe. As a matter of fact, I also remarried, and I have 3 children. Now, I'm sure if June and her husband knew this, there'd be no problem.
Really? Well, suppose I invite them over. Would you come back later and tell them that?
I'd love to for June's sake, but I've got some packing to do and a train to catch, so I'm afraid I can't.
Oh, well, all right. I'll show you to the door, Mr. White.
Thank you.
Hey, George, wait just a second. There's something I've got to tell you. Gracie was on the television a while ago with this Dr. Kirby.
Oh,
and she
you
was
heard about it too, huh? I must have gotten 50 phone calls.
Well, the point is, Gracie wasn't talking about herself when she was telling about being married before. You see, she was pretending to be her friend, June Higgins.
Well, this June Higgins must be some kind of a nitwit to have Gracie do a thing like that.
Yeah, well, now, wait a minute, George. Don't blame June for this, see? Somebody else gave Gracie the idea.
Who?
Who?
Yeah, who?
Another nitwit.
I have to get my hands on him. Who is it?
Well, George, I don't want... He happens to be a friend of mine, a very close friend.
Well, who is he? What's his name?
I don't remember his name.
You just said he was a very close friend.
No, not a close friend. He's an ordinary friend. More of an acquaintance. The guy's a total stranger. That's what he is.
Well, that friendship didn't last long. This close friend that you don't know, is he sort of a fat fella?
Fat?
Fat, yeah.
No, he's as skinny as I am.
Well, I've got some bad news for him. Tell him his friend was just fired.
But, George, June and Jim Higgins will be here any minute. And you have nothing to worry about. Jim has never met her first husband.
Gracie, count me out. I'm not going to pretend to be Oliver White.
Well, you're certainly very disappointing. And after all the favors I've done for you, and there have been plenty of them, believe me. How many wives would have thought to buy their husband a gold watch for his birthday?
You didn't buy me a gold watch.
I know, but I thought about it. And most wives wouldn't even do that.
Yeah, you're very considerate.
And it's all your fault I didn't buy it. If you didn't have a birthday, I wouldn't have spent all my money for that blue dress I wore to your party.
I didn't have a party.
Well, of course not. If we couldn't afford a watch, how could we afford a party?
Gracie, I'm not going to be Oliver White.
Oh. I'll give you my blue dress. I only wore it once.
No, and let's forget it.
All right, let's forget it.
All right?
All right. You know, George, I'm lucky to have a husband like you. You're not mean, you're not selfish, and you're not stubborn.
And I'm not Oliver White.
And you're not all those nice things I said about you.
Gracie, I'm not going to do it.
I'll throw in the shoes to go with my blue dress.
No.
How about my beaded bag?
No.
You're a mean man, Oliver.
Gracie, you better get yourself another boy.
When Gracie just left, she felt awful because you refused her.
But it's asinine. What a ridiculous request. How can I pretend to be a man I've never even seen, especially one presumed to be dead?
For you, it should be easy.
I will not become involved in such a harebrained scheme.
But, Harry, she's just trying to help somebody else. The least we can do is help her.
Well, Jim, June has told me a lot of nice things about you, and I can see that they're all true.
Oh, thanks, Gracie.
Jim told me you'd called 3 times.
What's so urgent?
Well, I wanted you to meet somebody, but so far I haven't met anybody to be the person I wanted you to meet.
What?
Well, what I mean is, I wanted to do something, but I needed somebody to help me.
Oh, well, maybe I can do it.
Oh, no, that wouldn't work, because then I'd have to get somebody to be you.
What?
Well, won't you sit down? I'll get you some coffee.
I'm really awfully sorry about this whole thing.
You should be. Now Gracie is mad at me because I don't want to be Oliver White, June's first husband. A man that June hasn't seen in 27 years.
I don't know what to say, George. It's my...
George, they're inside. It wouldn't take you a minute.
Nothing doing.
There's a gold compact in my beaded bag.
I'll see you later, Dad.
Goodbye.
Oh, let me take that in for you, Gracie.
You're kidding.
No, she was just that way in school, too.
Just put it right down here.
Okay.
This is June and Jim Higgins.
Oh, how do you do?
How do you do?
How do you do?
Well, Gracie, I'll just leave this for you and be running along.
Oh, don't go, Oliver.
Oliver?
Well, June, well, don't tell me that Oliver's changed so much that you don't recognize him.
Oliver.
Oh, yes. Oh, Jim, I don't know whether June mentioned this to you or not, but Oliver is June's first husband. You see, she thought he was dead when she married you, and now he has 3 children.
June, is this true?
Well, of course it's true. Oliver, tell them the names of your 3 children.
Well,
That's the youngest youngest one. He doesn't talk so good yet.
Yes. And the oldest one is Oliver Jr.
And who's in the middle?
Me.
June, what is all this?
Well, Jim, you see, Gracie...
Hello, June.
Oh, hello, George.
Are you Jim?
Yes?
I'll take that beaded bag. I'm Oliver White, June's first husband. She thought I was dead, but I'm married again, and I've got 5 children. What am I doing?
Well, better than Harry. He only had 3.
You too?
Abba, that's my youngest one.
June, will you please tell me what's going on?
Go away.
Mr. Higgins, it is my duty to inform you that I am June's first husband.
She was always a very active girl.
June was laboring under the misapprehension that I was deceased. But as you can see, that isn't so.
Mr. White.
Hello, Mrs. Burns. I decided to take a later train so that I could help June.
Oh, wonderful. You're just in time. Come on.
I don't know whether this is a joke or not. I don't care if June's had 10 husbands. I love her, and that's that.
Oh, Jim, I'm glad to hear you say that. Now I can tell you the truth. I'm George Burns. And this is Harry Bunzel.
How do you do?
And these are our neighbors, Mr. and Mrs. Morton.
How do you
How do you do?
And this is Oliver White.
And I'm Napoleon. Come on, Josephine, we've had enough.
Thanks, Gracie. Oh, you're welcome, June. Come on, Mr. White. Let's have some coffee.
Oh, we can all use some coffee.
There you go.
There you go. Mr. White?
Appearing on tonight's show were Jane Buchanan as June Higgins, Dan Tobin as Dr. Kirby, Lucille Curtis as Mrs. X, Frank Ferguson as Oliver White, William Forrest as Jim Higgins, and Ronnie Burns as Mr. Leslie.